Let's move over to Manchester City. The Premier League has sent a document with proposed changes to the APT rules. What have you made of those reports?
Yeah, well, that's again. We had City immediately saying, "Look, we reserve the right to come out and fight again." I think that what I hadn't heard, and the missing piece in the puzzle for me, was that there were going to be the Premier League was going to be taking further advice from the judges on the hearing as to how it could be corrected. If that has happened behind the scenes, then I would imagine the Premier League now feel very confident that the changes they're going to make will be able to be accepted and to be approved legally and not create further legal situations. Man City are reserving all rights and making all sorts of noises, and as far as I'm concerned, they're getting very close to being called into disrepute in the way that they're acting with this in public. These sort of things I think should be kept behind the scene. Anyway, it's going to be a vote fairly soon. The Premier League, obviously, to bring the vote forward and to bring the documents forward, believe that they've handled this properly. Did it need more time? That was the big argument. Everybody said, this is too much of a knee-jerk reaction. I think that the Premier League have got to feel confident that they have covered all the bases and that this will be voted for. We'll see what the politics, but in the clubs themselves vote for it. But I think it will probably pass.
And the clubs have reserved the right to seek compensation if Manchester City are found guilty of major breaches on the APT side. How substantial could that be?
Well, this is just one thing, as we've said before, and the word civil war, come up to mind. And then we just delve ourselves into a long-term legal dispute on so many fronts and so many angles. Every boardroom and every weekend would be hostile. It would just be a mess. So I'm hoping, again, as I've said many times, that this can be resolved without having to get there. But at the moment, clubs are still taking positions and having to reserve positions. We hope it never comes to this. But at the moment, it's just a bit of jousting as far as I can see. And that's what I hope that's all it is, I hope.
And the judge has ruled on Mendy is entitled to the majority of his unpaid salary. Are you surprised by this decision? Obviously, we have more recent links coming up with an Arsenal player over the last couple of years, and people saying legally they couldn't cut him because they owe him money and all these contractual things. Are you surprised that this is kind of the standard that they're setting, that a player who may be under certain charges for certain things will also has the right to the money?
Well, look, I have to defend his right, because he was found not guilty in the end, and so therefore contractually, and of course I haven't seen this contract, but I would imagine he is, obviously it's gone through the courts, and they have decided he is due a majority of the money that was withheld from him, and it's a considerable sum. I think 11 million was what was owed, and I've been told he's got the majority of that. So look, it's going to be a very clear black and white situation that Man City acted, without him being found guilty. And that seems to be pretty clear as to what's happened. Normally in these situations, while players could be suspended, they're still being paid while the court case is going on. And look, I understand it was a very high-profile case, and don't forget it was around COVID, and the whole time a lot of things were inflamed at that time for all sorts of reasons because of close contact and etc. and things. But look, it's now the case that he's won that case. He was also found not guilty, so we have to move on. But it does show employment law is becoming another area of the legal side that we're having to look at very, very carefully. I've been through my own employment law battles before, and I know that it's a very complex minefield. And so football and employment law don't really sit very well, but it looks like things we talked about, the bomb squad at Chelsea, all those sort of things are going to come back and they're going to be raised as questions. We're seeing changes in the laws with UEFA and FIFA, with the other case that we had the other day. So another area where our legal friends are sharpening their talons and ready to stick them into the flesh of football.
And then apparently the Brazilian national team is making a major play to get Pep Guardiola as their next manager. Is this concerning for Manchester City? Obviously, there's been rumors of Pep potentially signing a one-year extension, potentially leaving at the end of the year, and so on and so forth. Is this a job that's attractive enough to take Pep away from Man City?
Only Pep will decide on that. He can do whatever he wants. He's done his time for Man City. They should be very grateful. If he stays another season, they'll be very happy. But I've always felt that in my gut that something he was a little bit itchy at the moment. He's looking to get away. I think in my feeling, my gut feeling. Look, Brazil. Does he want to go overseas? I don't know. It would be very attractive. Obviously, Brazil is a hugely attractive position, but he could go anywhere he wants to. So it really depends on what he wants to do. Does he want some time off? I don't know. He's still relatively young. But look, Pep can write his own future. He's done it. He's done his time at City. They should be very grateful. He's left a fantastic foundation. Should he decide to go, but at the same time, he may decide that his work isn't finished there. There's been a tricky run of results recently, and he may not wish to go with that sort of that issue looming over his head right now. But we've seen it before. City come very strong and very good in the second half of the season, can go on a long unbeaten run. Pep may want, if he's going to go, he may want to go at the top. So we'll see. It's going to be a fascinating watch. But look, to me, he's showing signs of being not the stable Pep that I've seen before. I'm seeing him more irritable in different ways. So I just think there's something up, is my gut feeling.